Hi everyone, it's Mary Jo from Made in Heaven for you, tarot reading. I'm trying to do a little bit of a series with the background of the tarot. You could check my videos and see that I already have one up. And today I wanted to talk about symbols, symbology in the cards. As I had mentioned in the first reading, the cards are hidden with secrets. There are messages in every part of the imagery. They mean different things. For me, the color blue is knowledge. Purple is intuition, like that color of the psychic when you tap into your psychic energy. For me, also white and yellow are spirit. Dragonflies, to me, when I see dragonflies, that is something very spiritual too. Spirits around me and they're trying to communicate with me. Butterflies are indicative of new beginnings for many people. Ladybugs too. I don't see a lot of them here since I moved to Florida, but ladybugs to me usually let me know of something coming to me, something loving, maybe someone I haven't seen in a long time, that I have a close relationship or bond with. You know, since I moved here from New York, I don't see my family too often. Pennies. Pennies, I always say, oh, see a penny, pick it up throughout the day, you'll have good luck. I have an angel in my pocket. And usually some good stuff happens, or it's just them letting me know that, they're with me, Also for me, crows. Now, a lot of people don't like crows. I call them my brothers and sisters. I mean, we're all brothers and sisters, all species. The elements, the flora and fauna of Mother Earth is a gift God created, or whatever you call your creation or creator or your higher self. So I have them all over the place where I live, and I feed them. And I never knew. My mother always said, oh, they symbolize death. They're messages of death, She's born in Italy, and she has, a different set of superstitions, maybe. I don't like to say that word because a lot of them do kind of ring true. And I never knew that group of crows are called a murder. Doesn't matter, I love them anyway. And I call them my brothers and sisters, and they greet me when I come home from work at night. They're waiting for me usually. And when I have, a couple of years ago, I had a number of deaths in my family, actually 4 of them within 6, 7, and 8 week span. And it was amazing that 3 of them lined up, like waiting for me, and I knew who those 3 people were represented by the crows, and they're always around, and it's like they bring me news. I always feel that some sort of news is coming, but it's not bad news. It's just usually it's messages for me. And for years, my totem was a hawk that lived in a tree behind my house. Every year, a hawk would be there, and I don't know how long hawks live. When I know usually birds go back to roost, but it would be there. And for a long time, that was my spirit totem, I felt. And I was tied into Native American, which I didn't get it. I was like, I'm Italian Greek. How do I have a Native American? Not realizing it doesn't matter. It's spirit. We're all essence. And I would always get feathers. And I started to notice feathers coming to me when I was extremely distraught or experiencing what I perceived as very stressful, painful times in my life. And I would just find these feathers, and it was always I would get 4 feathers, here, there, and everywhere. And one of the psychics I had seen, I mentioned it, she goes, oh my God, 4 feathers. She says, that's a powerful Indian guide. That, I was like, oh, again, the whole Indian thing. I used to hear like music every morning, like a flute playing, and I would lay there and think it's just music playing. Then I'd realize when my eyes would open, I'd say, what the hell is that? And it was this song repeating over and over and over again. And I mentioned that again to another psychic, and she says, it's a Native American tie-in. And I was like, oh. By the time I embraced it and understood the hawk and the feather connotation and the music, it seemed like it stopped. And I also found out that your guides can change throughout your lifetime. You have certain guides that are with you on the journey and the path, and that's what they're meant to do, to work with you. That's either their karma or your agreement before you came here. And when you're done with that, and that level, you get a different guide. So that was very interesting for me too. And I was at my sister's house after not being back in 15 years. I had a few deaths in the family. My Aunt Phyllis had passed away, and I was doing readings for all my cousins. Everything. I was so excited, and I'm in my sister's kitchen, and I'm looking out the glass doors, and I see on the patio there little birds, and I said, "Oh, yes, these little birds all the time." She goes, "Yeah, they're always there." And then I see this big feather, and I says, "Do they always leave feathers?" She says, "No, not really." And I says, "Well, I get feathers from spirit all the time, but I usually get like 3 or 4 feathers." And as I'm saying that, there's another feather. And then I looked at, and there was a third one. And so I said, "Oh my God, there's 3 feathers. Does this happen all the time?" And they're huge feathers. They're not these little birdie feathers, you know? She froze. She wouldn't even look at me, and she just went, "Nope." And I knew that was Spirit's way of saying, "We're with you at this time." And for them to validate that, they kind of liked that I was offering peace to my family at the time of grief, and reading for them. So that's very interesting too, the symbology. You're going to have your own symbols when you start to read the tarot. If you don't already have symbols in your life that mean something to you, and you'll start to recognize them in the cards. Now again, as I said in the first video, I learned on the Rider-Waite deck, which is what they typically tell you to start to learn with. And, I didn't connect as much with it, even though I read about it. When I started to read with my deck of the Gilded Tarot, like I said, it just tuned in. Man, I was like right there. And I started to see the different things as I was reading it, the dragonfly or the cat or the rabbit, and I started tying it in. So even though when you learn the tarot, based on the book and the cards that you learn with, and hopefully it's a beginner's deck of Rider-Waite, you can take all the symbology and the elements and transfer it into the other deck. Like some of them use crystals and diamonds, and some are cats, and some are for gay people, and some are for vampires, and some are dragons. It doesn't matter. Once you learn the basic elements and what they correlate to, you can transfer it into the deck that you're drawn to and you're excited about and you like to read to, and you'll know, oh, these are wands, or it's the fire element, or it's, the cup, oh, so this is the water element, even though they might be using a dragon that's red, or a cat that's a calico. You'll be able to tie it all in, but you'll start to see the basic elements and the symbols that are imbued in that deck by the person who created that deck, and what it symbolizes to them is what you'll resonate with. And in time, the cards will really just be, not just be, they are a tool in the beginning, they will maybe just be a comfort, like my security blanket. The more you'll tap in, you may start just getting the whole story before you even put the cards down. And I'm not ready to let go of the cards yet. I like them. They're my comfort. Like I said, my security blanket. And I still look at them and see different things. I also would recommend, if you're going to start to learn the tarot and read the tarot, my teacher told me to start sleeping with the cards under my pillow. Start with a couple of cards each week, not to inundate yourself. And she said, look at the card and start to imagine yourself going into the card. She said, what are you feeling? Is it cold? Is it dark? Is it rainy? Is it very dry? Is it very hot? She said, feel the energy of that card and what it is. And I'm going to tell you, I would start with, like she said, 3 cards at a time. And I would be dreaming of those cards all through the night. And I dreamt I was in the cards, and there's the Queen of Wands. I'm looking at her, like, from outside looking, in, and just taking it all in and getting the feelings of the energy of that lady. It may happen for you, it may not. We all learn differently. We all receive differently. We all have different energy. And there's no right or wrong. You need to figure out what works for you. I'm just trying to offer you tools to help you in the beginning. Eventually, I started to sleep with the cards throughout the deck. And sometimes I even just put them under my pillow, sometimes once in a while, just to tap in again. I cleanse my deck myself. Some people say you can smudge them with a sage stick and say a blessing over them of whatever you want. You can make a ritual if you want to. Some people say put them in the light of a full moon. Some people say put them out in the sun. Some people wipe them clean with like salt water from Himalayan sea salts. I feel, and this is just for how I feel, that the power is within each and every one of us. Because we are godlike, we're God's seed, star seed, again, whatever you want to imbue within yourself. I hold the cards close to me, and I put my own intentions on those cards. You know, I thank God for blessing me and surrounding me with His white light of love and divine protection in the cards and those that I read for, so that I can feel the energy through me and emanating from me. So only positive, loving energy can come to me. And then afterward, I bless the cards again and thank Him for cleansing the cards so there isn't any energy. People start to put fear all around. Oh, you have to do this. I really don't work from a place of fear. I come from a place of love when I read. So everything is positive and light and love. And I have read for people that have been very pessimistic and even tough to read for. But I stay in that place because when you read, you leave your ego behind. That arrogance has to be gone. When you read for someone, it's not about you. It's about them and spirit. And ego has no place at the table. Now, you may get a lot of ego from that person, a lot of arrogance from that person. When you're reading and you're really tuned in, you're coming from this place of love with spirit is communicating, you will be able to talk to that person and get them to relax. Because you have to remember anger, rage, negativity, and fear. That's the deepest sadness expressed. Okay, so when people are angry or so enraged, that's usually someone who has a very deep sadness. So you don't know what's going on in the person that you're reading for. And you know, by the end of that reading, there is usually such a beautiful feeling of an exchange of energy that, you know, I am in the flesh too, and I have weaknesses. I have envy, I have jealous, I have anger, I have also, I don't like that person. Well, I never met the person. What did they do to not like? It's my problem, okay? I need to get out of my own way. And I'll be sitting there and the spirit will say, you need to read for that person. I'm like, well, I really don't want to read for that person. You should read for that person. I don't want to, I don't like them. You know, and I have to say, what? I don't even know this, you know, why am I saying this? They did nothing to me. There's just something about them that maybe must trigger something in me that has nothing to do with them. So, Spirit gives you free will. All right, they're kind of in my face, but I'm like, all right, I'll read them. I'm like, hey, you know, do tarot readings. I know how you feel about that. I'd love to read for you. Now, that person is looking at me like I'm cray-cray, but usually they're receptive. And by the time I finish the reading, I have been so humbled by Spirit. Because I had no right to feel that way about that person. And after reading for them, I see I am humbled, you know, by the energy of another life. That I had no right to judge, you know. We never have a right to judge. God doesn't even judge us. And He didn't give us free will to judge us. You know, that's a whole other ideology, a theology. I don't want to offend anyone, but I believe God is all loving, forgiving, and we're experiencing this physically for Him because He is in essence. He knows all, and He understands all. And here we are in this physical body, this vessel that He's let us experience life for, and that He can experience everything. So to Him, there's no right or wrong. He's not going to give you free will and then judge you when you go to heaven. You know what I mean? So I feel the same way even with Spirit. But here I am judging people. I'm sure they judge me too, you know. But when you finish with the reading and that person is crying because they feel relief or happy or joy, you see the peace that Spirit has given them. It's never about you, okay? It's always about that person and Spirit. That is vital for you to take that to the table and walk away with. People say, oh, when you read, you're so different than you are as a person. And it's true. You know, you got to let that ego go, that arrogance, and just sit there and let Spirit come through for you and for that person. You know, your guides, speak to their guides, however you want to accept it, and just offer that person the best reading that you can give them. So I hope that helps you. I'm open for questions. I'm happy to answer any questions. I don't know everything. I'm still a student myself, only doing this about 5 or 6 years. And again, that doesn't matter. I mean, there could be somebody just tunes in, turns on just like that. Somebody's doing it for 25 or 30 years. You'll know when you get the reading if you resonate with this person or not. And if not, it's okay. Even if you call in for a reading and goes away, it's always good within a few minutes. If you feel the energy is not right, it's your right to say, you know, I'm just not making a connection here, and I'd like to have a reading with someone else. Hopefully your experience will be a positive one, and that the person who is giving you the messages are giving you free of ego, directly, with light and love. So I always wish you the best, and please look forward to any other videos that I'm going to be putting up about the Arcana and the other tarot cards. If you like it, like it. And if you want to subscribe, subscribe. Thank you. I hope you have a great week.